What's going on, guys? Austin Zabak here with another video, and as you saw in the title and as you saw in the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about the Model 3 versus the Model Y in 2021 and all you need to know to be able to figure out which one fits your lifestyle needs better based on price, based on specs, based on 0 to 60, and literally everything you need to know. So first and foremost, what we're gonna do really quick is we're gonna jump back over to my studio really quick and we're gonna talk about price. And we're gonna break down the different options that are available with the Model 3, the different options that are available with the Model Y, and everything you need to know as it comes to the price of both cars. So I'm on the Tesla website right now, and we're just gonna dive into this really quick, and then we're gonna jump right back over to the actual comparison side by side and break down exactly everything you need to know. So we're gonna jump right over here to the Model 3, and we're gonna check out the different options just real quick. So now they're obviously featuring the 2021 model, and we're gonna break this down just in a minute right back over at the car, but the 2021 models do have all the brand new black accents around all the windows and the black door handles and everything like that. Just take that into consideration because the 2020s didn't have that quite yet on the Model 3 in particular, okay? So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna click the Order Now button, and we're gonna go ahead and see what different options we actually have. So the Standard Range Plus model on the Model 3 2021 version runs $33,690 for the base model Standard Range Plus. Now when we go ahead and we upgrade to the long range, that'll run us about $42,690. Now the main difference here really is just going from a 263 mile range up to way over that, actually, about a 353 mile range. So a significant range difference from the standard range to the long range. We don't really see that much of a difference going from 140 mile an hour top speed to 145 mile an hour top speed, so not too big of a difference there. So basically, you're paying about 9 grand for about 90 or so additional miles. Now, if we wanna go ahead and go from the long range to the performance model, which is what I'm gonna be doing the review on here in just a minute, then we go ahead and we jump up about another 8 grand in purchase price, and we actually lose a little bit of range, okay? We lose about 40 or so miles of range, but we go way up in terms of top speed, and our 0 to 60 literally goes from about 4.2 on the long range to about 3.1 on the performance. So basically you're paying about 8 grand for that 0 to 60, which is gonna pretty much knock your socks off. Now also with the performance, we're getting the upgraded wheels, we're getting the carbon fiber spoiler, which we're gonna talk about here in just a minute, we're getting the performance red brake calipers, we're getting lowered suspension, and we're also getting the aluminum alloy pedals. Now white comes standard on all the Teslas, so whether you go with the Model 3 or whether you go with the Model Y, you can get a white car at no additional cost. Now if you wanna go ahead and upgrade to the black, then that'll cost you an extra $1,000. The gray will cost you an extra $1,000 as well. They call it the silver metallic, the midnight silver metallic, okay? Pretty much just looks like gray or silver. And then if you wanna go ahead and do the blue, that'll cost you again an additional $1,000. So whether you're doing black, silver, or blue, an additional $1,000. And for whatever reason, the red is an additional $2,000. Now this is gonna be the same on the Model 3 as it is on the Model Y. Now black does come standard with all the Teslas. And when you do go with the black, the side panels of the doors, which we're gonna literally show you in real life here in just a minute, they come in like a black, but they're a different material. So it isn't leather. Instead, it's kind of like a softer material. It's actually kind of nice, okay? It kind of feels like Alcantara or something like that. And then you get the wood up on the dash, okay? So that is what you're gonna see when you go with the black, which again comes standard. Now you can upgrade to the white on the Model 3 or on the Model Y, and it's only an additional $1,000. Now, that gives you the white seats all the way around. It also gives you the white dash, and it also gives you the white kind of like door, like kind of by the door handle area. And again, while you're here, if you want on the Model 3 or the Model Y, you can pay an extra $10,000 and you can upgrade to the full self-driving capability, which is where you can navigate on autopilot, do auto lane change, you can auto park your car, you can summon your car with your phone. You have the full self-driving computer, essentially. It'll read stoplights, it'll pretty much do everything. And again, that's an additional $10,000 at the time of making the video, because Elon Musk has a little bit of a habit of adjusting that price pretty much whenever he feels like it. So jumping over to the Model Y really quick, we're gonna speed right through it because I know you're anxious to get into the video. We're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna go order now. Again, you're gonna get all the black trim on every Model Y because they did that right out of the gate. So you're not gonna ever see the chrome trim on a Model Y, okay? So if you liked the chrome trim, the Model Y might not be for you, okay? So on the standard range Model Y, we're looking at about a $37,000 price point. Now that's entry level, no upgrades, standard range, the whole nine. So just a little bit more than the Model 3, okay? Maybe a few $1,000s more, but again, you're getting basically a sedan, okay? It's probably more like a crossover between, again, like the Model X and the Model S, and you're getting like the Model Y. Now, if we go ahead and upgrade to the long range, it's gonna run us about 8,000 or so more than the standard range, and we're gonna go actually from basically a 244 mile standard range, and we're gonna jump all the way up to about a 326 mile on the long range. Now, that is a little bit less than the Model 3, okay? With the Model 3, we did get a little bit more miles on the long range. So definitely something to consider. If those extra 20 or 30 miles, make a big difference for you, then definitely take that into consideration. Now, jumping up to the performance model on the Model Y, we're jumping up to that $55,000 price mark, so pretty similar to the Model 3. It isn't gonna be quite as fast as the Model 3, so keep that in mind, and we'll show you all that here in a little while. But a Model Y performance is gonna be about a 3.5 second 0 to 60 compared to the Model 3 at about a 3.1, which makes a lot of sense because it's definitely a bigger car and it's definitely a little bit heavier. And also the demographic of people probably getting a Model Y probably don't care to go quite as fast as the person getting a Model 3. Now your range does drop a little bit with the performance down to about 303 miles. So we're just gonna go through it real quick. With the Model Y, if you do go ahead and go with the performance model, you will get those 21-inch wheels, which you're not gonna see with the Model 3. You get the performance brakes, obviously the lowered suspension, and you get the aluminum alloy pedals. All of the paint colors are gonna be exactly the same, with the black, the silver, and the blue running you an additional 1,000, and the red running you an additional 2,000. You can get a tow hitch option with the Model Y, which is definitely pretty cool. So if you have like a camper trailer, or you have a jet ski, or maybe like a lighter boat, or like a canoe or something like that, and you wanna go ahead and you wanna tow something, or even if you wanna put like one of those bike racks in the tow hitch compartment and you wanna carry your road bikes or your mountain bikes or whatever, that is definitely an option with the Model Y, and it is not an option with the Model 3. And same basic thing with the interior, you can do black, come standard, or you can do white, you can upgrade for $1,000. So the one thing with the Model Y as of right now is they have a seating layout of about 5 people. Now, this tells me that in the future, they might do what they did with the Model X, and they might allow bucket seats in the back of the Model Y, and then potentially do a third row. Although I don't know how that would work out in terms of room, so what I could see them potentially doing is just having a 4-seat option for the Model Y, where you've got 2 bucket seats in the front, 2 bucket seats in the back, and that's it. But they don't have that yet, so definitely stay tuned, and I'll have to look into whether or not Elon has said anything about that, and I'll definitely keep you posted. And again, you're looking at the same cost with the full self-driving capability, and that basically sums up the pricing differences between the Model 3 and the Model Y. Let's go ahead and jump back into the rest of the video. So now that we got that out of the way, let's just go ahead and check out the interior of both of the cars. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna check out the frunk of the Tesla Model 3, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna log onto my app, and I'm gonna open my frunk. Now you can do that obviously through your phone app, or you can do it from the screen inside. So when we look at the frunk in here, it's average size. I would say I could probably fit, I don't know, maybe like a small bag in here, like a camera bag or a backpack, and then maybe just like a couple of other items. I wouldn't say necessarily that I could fit a whole lot in here, but again, compared to like a normal gasoline car, this is definitely like a huge plus. So we're here in the front of the car, and there's a couple of things to notice here, okay? Obviously in the Model 3, the windshield and kind of the overall height of the car, I mean, again, this is a sedan, so it is a little bit smaller, and overall, you're sitting lower to the ground. Just when you get in general, it doesn't feel like an SUV, obviously, because it isn't an SUV, okay? So you get in here, and overall, it does feel a little bit smaller than the Model Y, and we're gonna talk about that in just a minute. Now, a couple of random things to notice. This is the 2020 Model 3, and right here underneath like the touchscreen display, it actually didn't come with a phone charger right here. A lot of the Model Ys, which we're gonna show you in just a minute, it actually comes with a wireless phone charger built into the car. Now, I can actually order that separate, and I think that the 2021 models actually come with that. So if you're thinking about getting a 2021 model, then you probably will get that automatically. So in my Tesla Model 3, we went ahead and we got the white leather interior, which is kind of Tesla's like, you know, that's their claim to fame, right? This is like actually not real leather. They call this like a vegan leather or like a faux leather. But what I love about it is that it's actually really easy to clean. And I've had a lot of people that have mentioned like, you know, that they don't want to go with white leather because it's going to be hard to clean, and if you spill something on it, it's going to be a total pain. And what I'll tell you is this, it's actually really easy to clean. You can just wipe it down. I actually wear black jeans a lot, and my black on my jeans actually gets on the leather every now and then, and it literally just wipes right off. Now, obviously, if you don't want the white leather, then you can go ahead and you can go with the black leather instead. But again, you know, you're gonna end up actually getting black all the way around the entire car. If you go with the black leather seats, you're gonna get the black dash or the wood dash. And you're also gonna get like a black leather door instead of the white. So overall, I think the white is actually really cool. So obviously we have the Tesla screen, okay? And as you probably know, in the Model 3 and in the Model Y, it is the horizontal screen, okay? Actually, they just announced that in the Model S, they're gonna be moving to a horizontal screen as well. Depending on what year of the S model that you actually buy, you actually will be missing potentially the top half of your steering wheel, but we'll see if Elon Musk actually pulls through on that. But for now, we're comparing the Model 3 versus the Model Y, and the screen is gonna be identical. And I love the horizontal screen. It makes it really easy for watching Netflix, you can play games. It also makes it really easy when you're driving. You have all of your information right here, and basically everything is done on that screen with the Model 3 and with the Model Y. So as you can see, we're in the back seat of the Model 3 right now, and I'm about 5'9", maybe 5'10", okay? And as you can tell, there's maybe, again, my hair makes up for probably a couple of inches, but there's not a lot of room. Like if I'm sitting all the way back and I'm back here, you know, if you were probably 6 foot, maybe 6'1", you're gonna have to kind of slouch down a little bit in order to fit in the back of the Model 3. So just keep that in mind, you know, but again, comparatively to like a Mercedes or a BMW that would compare to a Model 3, such as maybe a 3 Series BMW, or, you know, maybe like a C250, a C300 or whatever with the Mercedes, or like an M3 or 335i with the BMW, you know, you're probably similar in size overall when comparing, you know, just one sedan to another. But again, we're gonna talk about the Model Y in just a minute, because you actually get a lot more headroom and a lot more space in the back of the Model Y. So we actually do have 2 USB ports also in the back of the Model 3, which is actually pretty cool. And we're gonna talk about the Model Y in a minute, because they did actually go ahead and switch that up a little bit. And depending on the year of the Model 3 that you buy, that may be different as well. Again, this is a 2020, okay? So if you buy a 2021 or a 2022 when they come out, you know, this could look and feel different. But if you do get a 2020, then expect just the standard USB charging ports in the back of the Model 3. All right, here we are back at the back of the Model 3. And the first thing to notice, again, this is the actual performance model of the Tesla Model 3, okay? So you do notice that we do have a carbon fiber spoiler on the back of the Model 3, which definitely adds like a nice touch, okay? Now, if you don't opt to get the performance model, you will not get the carbon fiber spoiler, so definitely just something to keep in mind there. Let's just go ahead and open up the trunk here. So this is pretty standard for the Tesla Model 3. You obviously have a button to open the trunk. You can also open it via the phone app or via your touch screen, but again, it isn't gonna go up automatically. You still have to come back here and actually lift the trunk open on the Model 3. So when you look in here, you know, you actually have quite a bit of room here. Now, with the Tesla Model 3, I can actually lay my back seats down, and I will actually gain storage all the way through. You've probably seen videos before of Shelby Church or whatever, where they actually throw like a mattress back here and they go camping or whatever the case is. So you can definitely do that with the Model 3. I will say the only downside to the Tesla Model 3 is that I have to manually do that. So I have to actually walk around over here, and I actually have to click a button at the top of my seat to go ahead and lay my seats down. And I'll show you really quick exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So I've got to open my door, and I've actually got to lift a lever right here and basically I can then fold my seats down and you gain all of that additional storage, okay? The Model Y is a little bit different when it comes to that, so I'm excited to show you that here in just a minute. So I'm gonna show you the storage in the back of the Model 3 really quick, okay? We actually have more storage underneath like this little panel, which is super light, and you can just kind of lift this out. There's like a little hook here you can put your finger in and kind of open this up. And I would say, you know, this is pretty deep, and this is probably about the same size as the Frunk that we talked about a minute ago in the Model 3, okay? You can fit some additional stuff down there, and you can definitely, like, there's no shortage of storage on the Tesla Model 3, but we actually do gain a significant amount of more storage on the Model Y. Now, one more thing to take into consideration on the Model 3, and again, this is the 2020 model, so this actually did change on the 2021 models of the Tesla Model 3, but there's actually no button up here to close the trunk. So I actually have to grab my trunk and I have to manually close it, okay? There's not a button that'll close it for me, and therefore you don't have the closing mechanism either. So you just have your standard kind of hydraulic system here with your standard hinges where you do have to manually actually close that. But again, on the 2021s, they actually went ahead and they added a button right here, and they added the electronic stuff to be able to actually close the trunk without having to manually do that. So now on the 2020 Model 3, they did continue to do the chrome accents, okay? So you have the chrome all around the windows, you also have the chrome door handles, you have the chrome around the mirrors, and you also have the chrome around the camera area right up here, around your two front cameras that go back and kind of get, you know, the side length of the car, kind of when driving and everything like that. So with the 2021s, they went away with the chrome and they added a matte black instead. Now, the Model Ys come standard with the black. So just, you know, kind of depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you like the chrome, then you have to go with a little bit of an older model. And if you like the black, then, you know, you should be able to get that with the 2021 Model 3 or the Model Y. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about the Model Y for a minute, okay? Now this is a 2021 Model Y, and this is not the performance Model Y, although I'm gonna talk about that here in just a minute when we jump back over to my office, so definitely stay tuned for that, okay? So when we go ahead and we open the Frunk here, we actually get a significant amount more storage than I would say with the Model 3, okay? In general, this storage compartment, this kind of like Frunk area, is definitely deeper than the Model 3. As you can tell, this is like an average size backpack right here, and this is the charger and everything that comes with the Model 3 or the Model Y, or basically any Tesla that you get. And this isn't even taking up maybe more than, I would say, like a third of the overall Frunk area. But if I were to put this backpack in the Model 3, I would say it would probably take up 50% of the Frunk in the Model 3 and only about 30 or 33% of the Frunk in the Model Y. So we're over here in the Model Y now, and as you can tell, everything is pretty similar. The main difference that you can feel right when you get in, obviously, is we sit, you know, a little bit more off the ground, okay? Again, we're kind of in a little bit of a crossover. I wouldn't say it's like a full SUV. It's not like the Model X, but it's also not the Model 3. So I would say it's like somewhere right in between, and also makes all the sense in the world with the price. But I will say, just getting in here, overall, the windshield definitely feels a little bit taller, the roof area feels a little bit bigger, and overall the car just feels a little bit bigger. I feel higher up off the ground, and I truly feel like I'm in an SUV without being in like a full-blown SUV. Now, another couple things to consider are, again, and depending on what year you get, this might come with years automatically, but this does have the charging port built in right when you go ahead and get it. So if I throw my phone in there, my phone will actually go ahead and charge, which is definitely cool, and you can fit two phones in this little compartment area, which again, for my 2020 Model 3, I would go ahead and I'd have to actually purchase the additional charging adapter and plug it in and everything like that in order to get the wireless charging like you see comes standard with the 2021 models and with the Model Y. Now, as you can tell also, we do have the same exact white leather in the Model Y. This Model Y actually in particular only has like 300 or 400 or 500 miles on it, and that Model 3 actually has like 12,000 miles on it. And the white leather with the 12,000 miles looks the exact same as the white leather in here with like 500 miles. So as you can tell, you know, the leather definitely stays good for a long period of time, and Elon, I feel like, did a very good job, in Tesla in general, with the white leather. Another couple things to take into consideration are you do have the same exact screen that you had on the Model 3, so you really don't have to get used to anything like that. On the Model Y, we do have like a little bit bigger of like a black area thing up here with like kind of the the review mirror, which is definitely a little bit different. It hangs down a little bit more, and I think this is just strictly due to the fact that we have a little bit more windshield coverage in the Model Y. All right, so getting in the back seat of the Model Y. Listen, if you're somebody that is going to take road trips, if you're somebody, that is going to, maybe you have a family, maybe you have kids, maybe you're going to be going to soccer practice or football practice or whatever the case is, then the Model Y is probably definitely going to be better for you, because I'm not going to lie, just getting in the back seat, sitting straight up like I was a minute ago, I've got probably an additional, I would say, about 2 inches above my head, okay? Which is a massive difference, really, when you actually think about it, okay? Another big difference to take into consideration is with the Model Y, you get the full glass panorama roof, okay? There is no break in the overall roof. With the Model 3, you actually have like a break in the roof right in about, probably I would say like the middle area. But with the Model Y, it's glass all the way from the front windshield all the way to back here. I definitely also have a lot more leg room in the Model Y, and I can even actually kind of put my feet like underneath of the seat, okay? Which you definitely can't do in the Model 3 because the seats overall sit down a little bit lower. You can tell they actually bolted these seats up higher in the Model Y, okay, which definitely makes a big difference. If you want to kind of stretch out back here, you can definitely do that. Now, another big thing to consider is that we have USB Type-C ports in the Model Y. Again, if you get a 2021 Model 3, they switched over, I believe now, to USB-C ports in the 2021 Model 3 as well, but that is going to come standard in the Model Y. And again, everybody's kind of switching over. We're seeing that with the new MacBooks, we're seeing it with the new iMacs, and everybody's going to the USB-C in terms of the actual plug-in. Another thing I want to go ahead and look at in the Model Y is that I can actually reach over and I can see into the trunk, okay? I cannot do this with the Model 3 as there's kind of like a backing up here, kind of with the back of the seat all the way to the back window, and it's just like a hard thing. You can't like access the actual trunk. With this, if you were on a long road trip or something and you had a cooler back here and you wanted to get a drink or whatever, I could reach into the back of the trunk and I could actually grab whatever it is that I needed to grab. All right, now speaking of the trunk, I would say this is one of the main differences with the Model Y compared to the Model 3. Number one, all I've got to do is click the button and the trunk automatically opens up standard in the Model Y. So instead of just having your like kind of generic suspension, lift, or whatever you want to call it, these ones are actually like electric, and you actually get, it opening up for you. So you could actually use your phone app, or you could touch it on the screen and it'll actually open up for you, so you don't have to do that manually, okay, which is obviously a pretty big deal. Now, when we look at the Model Y, there's a pretty significant difference when it comes to overall storage. I mean, right off the bat, first of all, the car sits up significantly higher than the Model 3. There's no like dip down like right here, so I can just like slide something right in without having to like lift it up and then like sit it in the actual trunk, which is definitely a big plus if you're somebody that has a lot of stuff you're bringing around with you, or whatever the case is. Now, when it comes to overall storage, it's definitely a lot better as well, because you do still get the big storage area down below this back thing, although it's definitely significantly bigger than the Model 3. And also, in front of the back one, there's actually another one right here that you can lift up, which you can't do in the Model 3, but you can do in the Model Y, which provides even additional storage on top of that. And one more big thing to consider is that if you're somebody that wants to go ahead and you want to, maybe haul something bigger, maybe you went to IKEA, you got a new dresser, you got a new bed set, whatever the case is, as opposed to walking around and folding down those back seats, I've actually got a couple of levers right here where I can literally just pull the levers right here, and those back seats will actually go down for me. So now all I gotta do is I gotta take whatever it is that I have and just go ahead and shove it in there, and I don't have to go around or anything like that. And then again, as we talked about a minute ago, when I'm all said and done, rather than manually closing the trunk, all I've gotta do is press the button, it'll beep at me, and then it'll go ahead and close all by itself. And again, as we talked about a little while ago with the Model 3, again, mine is the 2020 model, so the 2021s, they're gonna be different anyways, but you do get the all matte black trim around the windows, on the handles, and on the camera area and around the mirrors, which is definitely a big plus with, I would say, the Model Y right off the bat, or going ahead and getting a newer model, Tesla Model 3. And another thing to consider is that this is the non-performance Model Y, okay? So the non-performance model actually comes with 20-inch wheels. Now these are the upgraded wheels on the Tesla Model Y. But if you do go ahead and get the performance model, rather than the 20-inch wheels, you're actually going to end up with 21-inch wheels. So that's definitely something to consider, if you're going ahead and thinking about the Tesla Model Y. There you have it, guys. That is the side-by-side comparison video between the Model 3 and the Model Y. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you're watching to the very end of the video, I would really appreciate it if you would just go ahead and take just a quick minute to just smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And also consider subscribing to my channel, as I'm gonna make a lot more content on Teslas, on different review videos and stuff like that. And if you have any interest in any of my other content, I would greatly appreciate it if you would go check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching again, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.